Alright then, so now we've seen how to work with component properties and actions, I want to dive a little bit deeper and talk about how Livewire uses data binding, and also how we can use something called modifiers to modify how we react to user events in the browser, like click events. So first up, let's talk about data binding. What does that mean exactly? Well, in Livewire, data binding refers to how the data value of properties defined in the component class and the values of those properties when used in the view are kind of bound together. And that means if the value of any component property changes within the class, then that triggers a re-render of the view using that new value so it can then be reflected in the browser. So by default, Livewire binds the property value in the class to the property value in the view, and this is known as one-way data binding because changes flow in one direction from the component class to the component view. And we already kind of saw that in the last lesson when the count property was updated and the render function reran using that updated value, so we saw it in the browser, okay? But we can also implement two-way data binding, where changes propagate in both directions, from the component class to the view, but also from the view to the class. And we typically do that using something called a model in Livewire. So for example, I've made a little form here inside the header which contains a span with a bit of text saying your name, an input field, and also a button at the bottom to submit the form. And what I'd like to do is allow the user to change the name property by typing a new one into this input field and then submitting the form, because currently the name property is kind of hard-coded. Yes, we're using a dynamic property defined in the class, but on that class we just hard-code the value to be Mario, never changes, it's not really very dynamic at all. But now I want to make it so that I could type my name into this input field, submit the form, and then that value gets updated in the template over here. And to do that, we'll be using the Livewire model directive to implement this kind of two-way data binding. So to do that, we can just come to the input field and we're going to type wire, then a colon, and then model. And then we can set that equal to a property defined on the component class that we want to bind this input value to. In our case, that's going to be the name property, which we've already created. So we can put that right here. And now we're saying to Livewire, I want to bind the value of this input field to the name property within the component class in both directions. So we can see that input field over here now, and we can see the value inside it when we first load the page is the current value of the name property, Mario. And that's because we used the model directive to bind the value of this input to the name property in the component class. Now we can change this value if we start typing something into it, but currently that's not doing much aside from changing what we see in the input field. It's not trying to sync the new input value to the property value on the class, and it's therefore not updating the name property where we output it over here in the template either. And that's because the default behavior of Livewire is not to continuously send updates to the server whenever this value changes. Instead, we have to manually tell Livewire when to perform this update using one of several different approaches, which I'm going to show you. So if we want to sync the value of the input field back to the component class, then we need to tell Livewire when and how to do that. And I'm going to show you three different ways we can do this in this scenario. The first way I'm going to demonstrate is by attaching a click event handler to the button right here. So to do that, I can type wire, then a colon, and then click. And we can set that equal to something. Now, previously, when we handled click events, we referenced a component action to invoke when the button gets clicked, right? But this time we don't need to do that. We could do if we wanted to, but we don't need to. Instead, we just need to tell the component to refresh its current property values based on any model value changes in the browser. And to do that, we can use a special utility value provided by Livewire called $refresh. And make sure you don't forget that $sign at the start. That's very important. So now when a user types a new value into the input field and then clicks on the button, Livewire sends a request to the server to refresh the values in the component. And as part of that request, it takes the new name value from this input field so it knows what to update the name property to be in the class. In turn, once that name property gets updated on the server, the render function for the component reruns with that new name value and it sends the updated template back to the browser. Then in the browser, like always, Livewire can update the DOM in any location where the name value gets used, like in the header. Now, before we try this, we need to do one more thing because currently this won't work as expected. And that's because by default, when a form gets submitted in the browser, the whole page gets refreshed. That's not a Laravel thing, that's just a general HTML thing. So in order for this to work, we need to prevent that default browser behavior from happening. And we can do that by using what's known as an event modifier in Livewire to modify how an event behaves or works. Now, there's loads of different modifiers that we can use in Livewire, and we're going to see a few later, but the one that we need right now is called prevents, and that prevents the default event behavior in the browser. So to apply a modifier to an event, we just come to the event and we use a dot after it, and then the modifier name, which in this case is prevents. And now when we submit the form, the default behavior in the browser of refreshing the whole page is prevented. So instead, the only thing that happens is this refresh of the component properties and the updating of the DOM to reflect that. Alright, so let's see if this works. And before we try it out, I'm going to inspect and then open up the network tab. And we're going to see anytime a request gets sent. So let's update this to something else like Luigi. And then I'm going to click on update. And notice when I do that, it sends this update request right here. Okay. And then as a response, if we take a look at this, let me make this a little bigger over here. We should see in this snapshot the new data. You can see name is now Luigi. So it uses this response to update the DOM itself. And you can see now over here where we output the name is Luigi. Let's try this again. I'm going to change this to Peach and then update again. And we can see Peach and also another update request down here. Awesome. Okay, so now we have this two-way data binding going on by using this model directive for the name property. And we can manually trigger the update by using this refresh utility right here when a user clicks on the button. Now, normally when we click on a button inside a form, like we discussed, the default event that occurs in the browser is the form submission and the page reloads, right? And we're actually preventing that default behavior of that event by using the prevent modifier down here. But instead of reacting to a click event on the button, we could react to the submit event on the form itself, which I think makes more sense in this context. So to do that, let's come to the form and we can say wire, then a colon, and then the event name, which this time is submit. And we can set that equal to something, which again is going to be the special refresh utility. And that triggers a component refresh. We can also delete the click event handler on the button because now we're listening for the submit event instead. And that gets fired automatically when we click on a button inside a form. Also, we don't need to add the prevent modifier to the submit event because Livewire prevents that default behavior for us out of the box when we use this submit event handler. All right then, so now this should all work the same way as before, but this time we're just reacting to a different event, a submit event, rather than just a button click. And now if we try this out in a browser by just updating this input field and then hitting the button, we should see that update over here as well, which we do. Awesome. So this is all very nice, but what if we wanted some kind of live update of the property as we typed into the input field, rather than having to wait until we manually submit the form, so that as we type, we can see in real time the name being updated in the browser, anywhere else that we use it, like over here? Well, we can do that by using a modifier called live on the model directive. So to achieve this, all we need to do is come to the model directive and tack on a modifier called live, like so. And now, after every keystroke in the input field, Livewire sends a request to the server to update that model property, the name. And in turn, that value gets propagated back down to the view, so Livewire can update it in real time in the browser. So now if we start typing into the input field, we can see the name on the other side of the page is updating live in real time. And this happens every time we make a change in the input field. Now the implications of this do matter because now Livewire is sending a new request to the server every single time we change the value in the input field. And that could be a lot of requests being made. I can demo this by opening up the network tab so that we can see whenever a new request gets sent, and that's going to happen every single time I type in a new character. So again, this leads to a lot of network requests, which might not be ideal. Now, a way around this is to add another modifier to this model directive after the live one called Debounce. And this modifier essentially pauses the request while we're typing into the input field until it detects that we've stopped typing completely for a set amount of time. Now, I think the default amount of time that it waits for to see if we've stopped typing is about 250 milliseconds, I think. But we could update that to something else like 500 milliseconds by adding that time on as an extra modifier. So it would just be dot and then 500 ms. And now Livewire won't send the update request to the server until we pause typing for 500 milliseconds. So this means we're still getting a very kind of live feel from the page, but we're making much less requests in the background to achieve it. And yes, it won't be fully, completely live. There will be a tiny delay, but it's still pretty good. Alright, so I'm going to see if this works, and I've got the network tab open over here, and what I'm going to do in a second is start updating this. And notice, as I'm typing this time, it's not sending a request every time I type a new character. It's going to wait until I stop typing for about 500 milliseconds, therefore it thinks I've finished typing the new name, then it sends the update request, it updates on the server, sends back the response, and it should update over here. So just watch down here to begin with. I'm going to start typing Luigi. When I finish, it waits 500 milliseconds, then it sends that update request, and this updates over here. Notice also, we did get that slight delay because it's waiting. So I'm going to try typing in a new name. Now look over here and notice the slight delay. So Peach, we finish, then it updates, okay? So the trade-off is that we do get that delay, but I think it is worth it because we're only sending that single update request once we finish typing, and to me, that is definitely worth it.